Turn it on? Turn it off? I think it's better off. Okay, so we are live a few minutes early just to make sure that it worked. And I think it worked.
You probably don't want
You're on it too now.
this in the shot.
Oh, okay. Fair. All right, so we're just going to wait for people to trickle in, assuming that I did it right, but I think I did do it right. So yeah, welcome in whoever's joining us. I am under slightly different conditions today because I'm recovering from a little situation, which I'm sure we'll get into later. Yeah, it was really interesting because all of my stuff is about compassion and how we need to meet ourselves gently. And I also really love roller skating. And when I broke my leg like crazy on Tuesday night, I did not foresee there being an intersection between all of those things, between being compassionate and roller skating and having how that can help a broken leg. So that was a really big, interesting lesson. Hi, Emer's here. Hi, Emer. You're here. You stayed up so late. Yeah, so I think it's just, oh, we have a second person in now. Good evening. Yeah, so I have a few stories to tell. Ooh, Crazy Cat says hi. Thank you, Crazy Cats. Emer says, so sorry about your leg. Thank you. Oh, it's Susan. Oh, there you are. Oh, sorry. I have my glasses on. Hi, Susan. Yay. Okay, so we have two of us in here and you guys are kind of connected. Yeah, so this is just like a crazy like universe story, and as I tell it, I'm just like it just keeps getting crazier. Like I'm so shocked at how this played out, ultimately, like for my best interest. So I'll maybe start with my roommate story first. So I had this roommate in after I was recovering from surgery, and Uh, yeah, Emer says a different Helmy effect. Yeah, maybe. Um, in French, side effects are called secondary effects, les effets secondaires. And I always think that that's like a better way of explaining it, that it's like a secondary effect that happens after. And yeah, there's a few of those with me. That's so funny, Emer. So yeah, so I had this roommate and we were in the same room just like with a curtain, and he had this basically the same injury as me. He fell off a roof. He was a roofer who fell off a roof, and broke his leg in a couple places, same as me. And it was fascinating to watch how we had a similar circumstance and yet such vastly different experiences of the same thing. I am a historian by training, and I just know how much of human history you would have hurt yourself like I did, and nobody would have come. And there was just nothing anybody could do. And so when the ambulance came, it took them about 30 minutes to get there. And I was so grateful. I was like overwhelmed with like, oh my God, they're here. It's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And And then the paramedics, and I was like, "What's your name? Like, thank you for coming to help me." Like, getting into the ER and, people doing the imaging. I'm like, "Thank you for getting a picture of this so they can show it to the doctor." Um, like every step of it, I was so grateful. So by the time I finished surgery and I was in this on the orthopedic floor recovering, moved into this guy's room, the nurse would come in and I'd be like, "Terry, you're the best. Like, thanks for giving me the painkillers. Like, like, yeah, it hurts. Like, thank you for helping me out and whatever." And the guy beside me in pretty much the same situation was so aggressive and so angry and so frustrated, and he just kept calling the nurses in and kept saying like, "Oh, you're not listening to me. You need to give me more. You need to give me more painkillers. Like, it hurts too much." And they'd be like, "We only have a doctor's order for a certain amount of like the opiate painkillers." And so they're like, "We literally can't legally give you any more. Like, we'll call the doctor, we'll ask him to increase your dose, whatever." And he was just accusing the doctors of hurting him, accusing the nurses of not caring about him, complaining, grumbling, like just being like, "This is ridiculous. Like, what is this? Like, you guys, like, you're not even doing anything. You're not even trying to help me." And that was his experience. And so as the night wore on, and it was a very long night, um, he was just having this same reaction. And I was listening to him, and I was like, I don't think that this guy, I thought he was a kid, he was 29. I was like, I don't think he's been shown very much compassion in his life. He doesn't talk like somebody who's been shown a lot of compassion. So, um, so I said, I was like, "Hey man, do you," he was in so much pain and they weren't giving him any more pain meds, and he kept having these flare-ups of pain that would only last for like 5 or 10 minutes. And all he could do was like get through it basically. And I was like, "When I'm really upset and I am in a lot of pain, like, what helps me?" And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Having somebody read me a story." I was like, "Do you want me to read you a story?" And he was like, "No, that's weird." And I was like, "Okay, fine. Can't, not gonna force it." And then he goes, like 2 minutes later, he's like, "What kind of story you got over there if you were gonna read me a story?" And I was like, "I have Harry Potter too and the Chamber of Secrets. Like, you want to just like breathe, squeeze your stress balls, breathe, and like let me read you a story." And um and he did, and he fell asleep, and we got through 3.5 chapters of Harry Potter. Well, I got through 3.5 chapters of Harry Potter over the course of this evening. But he doesn't remember a lot of it because he kept falling asleep. So he's like, "Wait, the last I heard, we were still at the Dursleys' house, and like Dobby was still there with the dessert." And I was like, "Oh, we passed that a while ago, bud. Like, you slept through it." And by the next day, the pain waves would hit him, and he would grab his stress balls and be like, "Can you read me the next part of the story?" And he would breathe and squeeze, and I'd read him the story, and you could hear his breathing calming down. He's breathing more regularly instead of really shallow because he's trying to hear what I'm saying. And I'm moderating my tone and my speed to like match his breathing rhythm. And just by the end of a couple of pages, like he's like, "Yeah, it passed. Like, I'm not in pain anymore." Um, and yeah, Emer, it was wonderful. And he originally was like, "I'm too cool for a story." And I was like, and at one point, he was in pain and it wasn't working and he wouldn't let me read him the story, and I shoved Pooh Bear, who I took into, of course, took to the hospital, under the curtain. And I was like, "Do you want Pooh Bear? Do you want to, like, do you want to hold him?" And he was like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, fine." And then later he was like, "How old are you? Like, you're talking about breaking your leg roller skating and you've got Harry Potter and Pooh Bear. Like, are you like 12 years old or something?" And I was like, "I'm 41 and I did not know that we were supposed to outgrow these things. Like I love them the same as I did 20 years ago. Like what's your point?" And he was like, "Okay, yeah, fair point." Um and anyway, and so he softened, right? It took about, a day, right, for him to like really soften, for him to like relax into me holding that space for him to um give himself that compassion. Emer says, "In Chamber of Secrets is the one that's better listened to than read." Absolutely. I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Exactly. Like you want to hear that as a story. It paints a picture. And so I was watching him, with this aggression and this fear and this pain, and he just was not able to hold any space for himself in that place. So he had to keep taking it out on everyone else. And then what ended up happening is he didn't trust the nurses or the doctors at all. So they would say things like, "Don't take out your catheter. Don't pull it out." And he would pull it out. Oh my god, the screaming that was right next to me in that room. They would say things like, "Don't put your," because his leg is broken like mine, and they say, like, "No weight bearing," right? So they're like, "Do not put any weight on that foot." And he did. And then he got this thing called fracture blisters, which is apparently like the skin like it like feels like burning and it fills with fluid and stuff trying to protect itself because it's like a wounded limb that's put getting weight bearing. And he's like, "Well, they never told me why. They never gave me an education on what would have happened if I did do it." So, and I'm like, "But you're not listening to them and you're not asking them. They're telling you, do not pull out your catheter. Do not put weight on that broken foot." And he just wouldn't listen. And so he's making it worse. He's creating this pain for himself that he didn't have before. And you're literally watching him suffering. Yeah, absolutely, Emer, poor guy. Like you're watching him suffering, you're watching him sort of just descend into this negativity, and then the less he trusted the nurses, the less he would listen to them. So then less he would do what they said, and he would just try it his way because he thought it was going to work. Spoiler alert, do not pull a catheter out. Like you should wait for the nurse to help you, but he didn't trust the nurse to take, oh my god. So by the end of the night, I mean, he is in way worse shape than he was when he went to bed. And it just could have been um it could have been easier. It could have been gentler because the staff are now starting to respond to him as though he is like coming at them all the time, which he is. But then every time I needed something, I'd be like, "Hey, nurse," like, and I knew all their names. I'd be like, "Terry, like, it really hurts." And I got cocky and I said I could just do the oral tablets instead of the injection. And I was very wrong and it hurts very bad. Like how many hours until I can have another injection of painkillers? And he was like, "Oh, we'll just be right back and we'll get you that right now. Like we don't want you suffering. Like don't be a hero." And I'd be like, "Thank you, Terry. Like you're really helping me out tonight." right? And, um and it was the same nurse in the same room with the same injury, and it was just like we were just having 2 very different experiences because I was overwhelmed with gratitude for getting the care. I got my surgery within, like, 14 hours of, being admitted to the hospital, and even though I had to go into surgery alone, my husband couldn't get back in time. There was no notice that I was gonna be having surgery. They said it could be, like, 5 days because of inflammation and swelling, and then it just ended up that they were like, "You're going in 30 minutes," and there was this crazy storm, and the traffic was crazy, and the power was going in and out in the hospital, and I had to go into surgery like that in so much pain, and, um and I went to the anesthesiologist. Well, I didn't go anywhere, I'm lying in the bed, like, totally powerless, and I go to the anesthesiologist, but he comes over to me and he's, like, asking me questions, and he's like, "Do you have any questions for me?" And I just, like, reached for him and I was like, "Are you gonna stay? Will you stay with me?" Just to know that, like, somebody would be there. And he's like, "It's literally my job to stay with you the entire time, like, if I don't stay with you, like, I would get fired and probably arrested," and I was like, "I just wanna know that, like, somebody's gonna stay with me." And he's like, "I'm gonna take such good care of you." And I'm like, "Okay, then that's all I need to know." Like, I am in the perfect place to have 3 broken spots. Broken I broke my leg in 3 places, and, the ER doctor, he came in, he was like he got the X-ray, and he's like, "It's super broken." Like, because we were like, "Maybe it's dislocated, maybe it's a bad sprain." He's like, "Super broken." I'm like, "Is that the medical term?" And then he's like going to my husband, he's like, "Do you wanna see the X-ray? Do you wanna like, it's really broken, like, let me show you how broken." So there was a lot of, like, medical, like, nerding out where they were like, "Whoa, like, we finally got a case that's, like, really bad and complicated." Um, and, uh, and I was just so grateful, like, at every moment where it could have gotten worse, where I could have been, um it could have failed, I could have been in worse shape, I could have gotten to the ER and had to wait hours and hours. Emer says, "When you do it good and proper." Yeah, exactly. And I almost never fall. This is the funny thing. I've fallen like 5 times in the last year roller skating. Like, I almost never fall for how many hours I've been out there. I almost never fall, and of course, the one time I do this little weird wobble, it wasn't even a fall, I just kind of sat down and I, like, snapped my leg right in half, which I did hear the snap, by the way. And, yeah, Susan says, "Oh my god, 3 places that gratitude is helping it heal faster too." Yeah, I think it is, and I was able to, like, even though I was in guys, this the pain was agony. It was I was screaming, like, it was so bad, and my one of my nurses in the ER who was more like a paramedic, she came over and she's like, "Oh my god, how's your pain? How's your pain?" And I stopped her and I was like, "How are your eyebrows so perfect? Like, are those microbladed eyebrows? Like, what are we talking about here?" And she was like, "No, they're not microbladed. It's this crazy brow gel." And I was like, "What is the name of the brow gel? And then I'll tell you how much pain I'm in because, like, your eyebrows are, like, fucking incredible." And, they were guys, you don't understand. These were I mean, she looked like a piece of art, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and, like, how are your eyebrows still that perfect? Like, tell me your secrets, right? And, um, and everybody was just, like, wanted to help me. you know? And I wanted to know how their eyebrows were perfect, and I wanted them to help me, and I was ready to accept the help, like, I wasn't fighting anybody off. I normally never take any Tylenol or, like, I don't take anything for anything, and they were like, "Do you want, like, you know, painkillers?" And I was like, "Mhm, yeah, like, I will take what you got," which actually didn't really work, that well, but, I think some people just have, like, higher, um, tolerances for it somehow. Um, but I was like the nurse who was helping me, her name was Holly, and I was like, "Holly and Helmy, like, isn't that cute?" And she was like, "I mean, yeah, you're, like, half dead, but yes, it's adorable." Um, Emer says it's hard to accept help. Yeah, exactly, Emer, it is. And Susan said you saw them. They work so hard and you appreciated them. Yeah, and that's what I kinda noticed is I was like, what's everyone else doing? Like, is everyone else acting like you owe them something or like you're not doing a good enough job? Like, every single person, I was like, you're so good at what you do. Like, they had to manually try to align it when they didn't know how broken it was. Um, I don't that's like a gross thing to explain, but basically it's like my foot was like on and they were like gonna try to put it proper and put it in a cast. And I was like, "Oh my god, like, am I gonna pass out from the pain?" And they're like, "No, no, no, we're gonna drug you up, you're not gonna remember. We can't knock you out because 'cause you're still in the ER, but, like, we can make it so you don't have a memory of it," right? And, and they were so good at what they did that I it was 10 minutes later, to me, it felt like an hour, um, and my husband heard me screaming outside the room, but I don't remember it. And I woke up and I was like, "Oh my god, that is so much better." Like, at least it's not dangling there anymore, right? Um, Emer says, "Yes, Susan, so many people don't see them or appreciate them." Yeah, and I was just like the guy's name was Rob who gave me all the drugs, and I'm like, "Rob, how are you so good at this?" Like, that was the least amount of discomfort that possibly could have been. I don't even remember the bad part. He's like, "Yeah, I told you you wouldn't." And I'm like, "What are you? Like some kind of opiate sorcerer? Like how do you?" And he was like, "Oh, we get training and da da da." And I'm like, he's like, "But I'm going to go and be a teacher on this." And I'm like, "Teach them what your method is because your method was phenomenal." And he was like, "Okay, like I'm going to take that to my like I'm going to take this job as a teacher." And it's because everybody was amazing, like, at every level of care. Then the manual alignment thing didn't align properly. They it was just so broken that they couldn't do it by hand, and they did the X-rays, and they were like, "Uh-oh, like, that's not gonna that's not gonna hold, we can't, like, send her home with that." Um, and and I was getting scared, and, you know, it was just, like, a bad situation, and then And then I was like, "Okay, let's have some compassion for myself. Let's have some compassion for that this is hard, and this is scary, and this is painful. And let's not sit here being like, you should be able to handle it or whatever. Like, no, like, this is a big deal." And I just, like, gave that compassion to myself and to my little. And then here was where the real magic kicked off is I started to give it to my leg. So I started talking to my broken leg like I would talk to my little, and I was like, "Oh, you've been all one piece for your whole life, and now all of a sudden you're separated from the rest of us and you're all broken away. That must be really scary for you, leg bone. You must be really, like, you know, worried about that." And my leg bone was like, "Yeah, like, I'm supposed to be connected." Like, and I was like, "You are this wasn't your fault. This was my fault. I was the one roller skating, and this is my fault. And don't you worry, like, I'm gonna get you a surgery, and they're gonna put it in alignment, and then all you have to do is try to rebuild it and come back up to us, right? And, like, build that bridge back and, like, connect those dots." And I was like, "You're just the best ankle bone in the whole world. You're just doing a great job." and I appreciate you, and I'm sorry that I snapped you. like like we're going to fix it. And in giving the compassion to my leg, to my ankle, um it actually felt different. Like instead of being like, "Oh, stupid ankle, stupid leg, what's wrong with you? Oh, why'd you have to break? You suck. Like, you're the worst leg ever." And I was like, "You're doing such a good job. I'm so sorry I put too much pressure on you in the wrong direction. We're gonna get a surgeon to line it back up, and then all you gotta do is like build your little self back up." And I know you know how to do that because I know you're so wise and you know how to knit bones back together, and I'm right here with you, and you're such a great bone. Um, yeah, Emer says, and then that'll keep you going through the whole thing. Yeah. So I became, instead of seeing myself as a victim, like I was alone, my husband wasn't there. Well, he was there for like a ton of it, but at 2 or 3 in the morning, he had to go home. Um, and I didn't sleep all night, and I was in so much pain, and they couldn't line it up, and it was just ridiculous, like how much it hurt. And I was like just giving that compassion back to myself, back to my leg, back to my little, back to all the parts of me that were scared. And then that is what allowed me, like Emer says, like it keeps you going because the compassion just leads back to gratitude. And then the gratitude leads back to compassion. And then the compassion leads back to gratitude. So I was able to meet all of these different healthcare workers with such gratitude because I had given myself that compassion first. And then I watched the person next to me have a very different experience of their pain and of their healthcare because that compassion just wasn't there. Anthony's here. Hi, Anthony. How's it going? Do you want to see my cast? I'm in a different spot today because I now live in a bed and can't move, and this is like where I spend all of my time now. But at least I'm not in the hospital. Oh, and that's the other thing. Oh yeah, Anthony, you're missing the story. I broke my leg in 3 places on Tuesday and then had to have emergency surgery. And I'm just explaining how compassion helped me and how gratitude made all the difference and how I'm really grateful. Yes, it was excruciating and I screamed a lot. And then um they did about a 2-hour surgery, and they were like, it's a really severe break. Like, and the surgeon was like, "Do you have any questions for me?" And I was like, "Can you fix it?" And in my head, I was doing the Bob the Builder song. Can you fix it? Yes, we can. And the orthopedic surgeon was like, "I think so. Like, it's a really bad break, and we're gonna have to see what it's like when we get in there." So now I have like plates and screws on I think on both sides of my ankle, above where my roller skating boot was. Yeah, so I got out of the hospital on Thursday, Anthony. Yes, I was roller skating when I broke it. I wasn't crazy roller skating though. This is what drove me nuts. I landed my toe loop jump fine like 10 times. And then I was like, "Oh, I'll just do a few more." And I landed it, and I landed it on the right leg totally fine. And then the left leg just, I don't know, I just put it down funny, and I guess I don't know, I just wasn't paying attention, and I just wobbled a little bit on the left leg, and then I just kinda lost my balance and went to sit down, except the legs were in the wrong place for me to sit down, so thank God I didn't hit my head. But I was, like, in the ER being like, "Guys, I did not do, like, a triple axel or something and, like, land on the wrong leg and break the ankle, like, let's not get it twisted, like, the jump I did was small and fine, and that's not what broke it. It was, like, just wobbling it was like a freak accident, honestly, Anthony. Um, yeah, such a freak accident. So, But then I wasn't roller skating alone. I was there with friends and they all like rushed to help me and they got the boot off, thank God, and they held my head, they tried to keep me warm. I was going into shock. And they kept me trying to distract me and like keep me talking, keep me lucid. Um, so like that could have been so much worse, right? I could have been by myself roller skating. Um, I could have been somewhere where the ambulance like was like, "Oh, it's going to be 3 hours before we get there," or whatever. Like it was just everything the second it snapped, um which I'm not going to lie, it was like a big snap and I heard it and um I started screaming like right away. But then everything else after that, like everything fell into place. And the nurse even said, "Yeah, no weight bearing at all, Anthony. That's why I'm here." Oh, there we go. I've got my laptop up on a milk crate so I could go live with you guys anyways. Um Even the nurse was like, "You just happened to break it at the time that we happened to have the ankle and leg orthopedic surgeon booked in for that morning. And then there just happened to be, room in the schedule to get you in. So that's why you didn't end up having to wait that long for your surgery." So I was in and out of the hospital from getting in from Emerge, the paramedics like coming in with me, to being discharged with my physio equipment and everything, having had the surgery, having recovered enough from the surgery in 40 hours. Like, what? 40 hours. The guy beside me, they're like, he's going to be here for 2 weeks. Um, and also because he just kept making things worse. So they kept having more problems to deal with. Yes, Anthony, I lucked out, but I think I lucked out because I was aligning myself with gratitude and compassion, and the universe was like, "Oh, okay. Like, let's line it up." Like I think that there is like an energetic impact to focusing on what's called solution-based thinking. And solution-based thinking is in any situation you focus on what is going right, what is going well, as opposed to problem-based thinking, which is what most of us do, which is in any situation we're focusing on what's going wrong and what the problem is. So instead of laying there and saying, "Oh my god, I broke my leg, like it hurts, it hurts, it hurts." Like I focused on, "Oh my god, I'm so grateful that everyone's here with me. I'm so grateful that the ambulance came. I'm so grateful that the doctor is going to see me. I'm so grateful that they're taking me for imaging." And I just constantly focused on what was going well. And that's solution-based thinking because what we focus on expands. So the more I focused on it, the more things went well. And the more people like wanted to help me and went out of their way to help me and were like really happy to help me. And then the more help I got. Um Susan says, "Amazing. All the support when it broke and all the good energy that gets attracted to your good energy." Exactly. Like Susan gets it. It's like a thing. It's like an attraction like kind of force. And I had a choice in that moment. I would have been well within my rights to be yelling at everybody, swearing at them, screaming at them, accusing them, like panicking, fear, pain. I would have been well within my rights. Like people would have understood, right? But instead, I was like, "What's your name? Thank you for taking care of me. Like, you know, what do I need to do? How can I make this better?" Anthony says, "I know someone with a similar fracture took 2 weeks. Whoa, 2 weeks before he got in for the surgery in Ontario. Ooh, okay, that's a nightmare. I could not have lasted. The pain was so bad. I could not have lasted 2 weeks. Like I was going crazy." Double A says, "Hello, hi, Double A. Welcome in. Welcome in. Do I remember which bones I broke? I broke all of them. There's only two leg bones in your lower leg, and I snapped those clean in half, and I broke another one of them twice. So there's like, as far as I understand, I don't know a lot about lower body anatomy. So there's two lower leg bones that go from your ankle to your knee joint, and one of them I broke in two places, and one of them I only snapped in one place. Um, I have the X-ray. The X-ray is weird. The X-ray is like, yeah, tibia. Thank you, Susan. Tibia and fibula. Yes, I broke them very thoroughly. So they are most broken. And that's why I was like, oh, my poor bones that are used to being one bone and now they're all separated from everybody. Like, I feel bad. I'm sorry, guys. Like we're gonna get the surgery and then you guys can come back, you know? Um, so yeah, and so it's like in every moment I had a choice of, am I going to focus on the fear, the pain, the panic, um, or am I going to focus on what is working and what is going well? Cheryl says, "Oh no, so sorry about your leg." Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Yes, it was a big shock to me for sure. I really didn't think that I was gonna be I almost never fall when I skate at all. Like I just really almost never do. Susan says gonna end up stronger than ever, bionic. Exactly. And I've had soft tissue injuries before that have taken years to heal and they never like 100% recovered. And bone, I think, is like a much more straightforward process. Um, but this is the first time that I've ever had to test out solution-based thinking and compassion um, under that kind of duress, under that kind of pressure, feeling that um desperate and terrified. It's not that I didn't feel those things. I just decided to focus on what was going well, what I was grateful for, what was helping, and I think it made a big difference because I got home from the hospital after 40 hours, and within a day I started being able to go like 7, 10, 12 hours between painkillers, and the pain is just getting like less and less dramatically quickly. Um, so it is having like a literal real-time impact on my body where I'm seeing that outcome, and again, being next to this other guy in the room where he was in kind of the same boat, and yet every moment of his night just made it worse and worse and worse. I was like, there might be something to this whole, like, there is a mental state of things. Emer says, "Where focus goes, energy goes." Exactly. What we focus on expands. And Susan said you had a great frame of mind to go to compassion. Yeah. Yeah. So that's another thing to be grateful for, you know? Like it's and I used to be afraid of people. I used to not trust anybody. I used to be like, I just want to be by myself in my house with my door locked. Like, I don't trust anybody. And it's like there's a lot of people out there who want to help, and focusing on the people who want to harm is sort of erasing all the people who really do want to help. Like Anthony, who's just as I was saying that, I saw this comment: vitamin D will help bone grow back quicker. I have my vitamin D in my little stash of stuff I take every day. I take my vitamin D. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah. Although I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to be taking. I take like 4,000, and I think maybe that's too many. Maybe I should take like 1 or 2,000. Um, but and it's amazing how much less pain meds you need when you have another pathway to soothe it. Because this guy beside me, it didn't matter how much they gave him. like, he was just the pain just stayed the same until I started reading him Harry Potter, his pain stayed the same, and as soon as he submitted to that and let me read him a bedtime story, um, his pain would diminish to the point of falling asleep, like, multiple times, so I think there is, like, a connection to or there must be a connection to mindset um, and, like, how we experience pain in our bodies and trauma in our bodies. Um, so isn't that crazy? Like, who would have thought that me breaking my leg that severely would be a place for me to see just how much compassion has, like, changed my life, improved my ability to heal. Anthony says 4,000 is good. Okay. Okay, if it's not too much, I will keep taking 4,000. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony, how was your week? I mean, I've spent some time in a hospital now, and I was thinking about you when I was in the thing. I was like, "Oh, Anthony's a hospital worker too." Um, I forget exactly what type of work you do, but I haven't been that up close and personal with the healthcare system in a while, um, like decades probably. So it was uh, it was like when I saw the pressure that they were under and the working conditions they were under, and I was like, everyone stop being mean to them. Like they're literally doing everything they can. Anthony says, yeah, especially in winter months where there is no sun. Exactly. Yeah, and it's not like I'm getting out anyway right now. So that's fine. This is my natural skin tone. I don't tan or anything. Um, so yeah, how are you guys doing? How was your week? How have you um created a little space for you to have some compassion and some healing and some gratitude? Where have you guys been shifting into that solution-based thinking of like focusing on what is going well, focusing on what is working? And how can I support you? If you put it in the chat, I can respond, and, if you don't write it in the chat, I don't see that you're here or anything, like, I can only see what's in the chat. But if you put something in the chat, if you need help, if you've felt like you met yourself with a lot of judgment and criticism this week, and you want help shifting it to something more positive, like, you can write it in and I will help, and if not, I got more stories. Oh, and don't forget to like the stream too. I always forget to tell people that. Please hit the thumbs up button that says that you like the stream. Anthony says, I didn't see you, but then again, you are in another province. Oh my God, Anthony. But Anthony, you work in a hospital, right? Like you work in an ER, don't you? That would just must be bonker stressful. My favorite thing about ER um is the triage. It's like this fancy word where they're like gonna tell you, oh, like this person goes here, this person needs more urgent care. And one of the things this was another thing I was super grateful for is if you guys know, like I've lost 45 pounds. I have stopped drinking, I have stopped eating sugar and takeout all the time. And a year ago, that's when I started skating. Like that's what I was doing. And the doctors kept asking me, like, do you smoke? Are you diabetic? Do you drink alcohol? And the last time the doctors asked me if I drink alcohol, there wasn't the maximum amount you could put on the sheet was 2 bottles of wine a week, and I was drinking, like, 2, 3 bottles of wine a day. And I was like, 3 bottles of wine a week, like and it was so much more than that, and I was so grateful to be able to say this time, like, 0. Like, I don't miss it, I don't need it, I don't want it, I don't think about it, um, and they're like, "Yeah, because alcohol is apparently, like, a big deterrent to healing." Obviously smoking is, and diabetes is too, thank you, Susan. Um and, and I saw people in the ER who were left there, and like, the guy beside me smokes a pack a day, and I'm like, "Well, that's another way that you're making it harder for you to heal," and he was, like, just pounding sugar the entire like, every hour he was, like, eating M&Ms or something. Um, so it's like, that's another way it's making it hard on your body to heal. So, yeah, Emer, from 3 bottles to 0, exactly. It was like 3 bottles a day to 0, yeah. Uh, so Emer says, "I've been having a little improvement on getting things done, and more important, I've been aware of and appreciate it." Yay! Good job, Emer. That's what we want. It'll be these, like, small improvements until eventually you'll just make this huge shift without noticing it, and then it'll just kind of fall away. Um, but it's in those small shifts that the magic happens. Yeah, I know, Emer, because honestly, I would have been drinking the day I got home from the hospital. Like, that's what I would have gone to wine as a coping mechanism to, like, help with the pain or whatever. Um Anthony says your cast may get a little loose once the swelling goes down. Uh, they'll x-ray you and put another cast on in a week or two. Um, okay, yes, I have an appointment in 2 weeks to get it. Yeah, they said that, like, this is made bigger for the swelling, thank God. Um, and that yeah, so then my roller skating friends were like, "We're gonna have a cast decorating party, and we're gonna bedazzle it, and we're gonna, like, paint it all your favorite colors and whatever," and then I was like, "Oh, well, I'm getting another cast." I'm like, "We'll decorate both of them." Yeah, so Anthony, that's exactly what they said. They'll X-ray and put another cast on in 2 weeks. Yeah, because obviously there's still a lot of swelling. Um And, Emer says, "Oh, they're tiny improvements, but I'll take that." Yeah, you have to take it. You have to accept it. You know what, Emer? Emer says, "I'm Irish. It's our go-to." I'm half Irish and half Finnish. So if you wanna talk alcohol consumption, Finnish Irish is you're just guaranteed to be, like, dependent on alcohol. Like, that's just those genes, it's tough to beat. It's a really tough to beat. And, yeah, exactly. So and again, it's the culture, and in Finland, it's like, it's nothing else to do, I guess. Like, I don't know, they have a real, drinking culture. Ireland has a real drinking culture, and, yeah, and so but just being like, "Yeah, I don't need it. I don't need it to socialize. I don't need it to" I used to drink with people thinking that we'll bond, and then they'll wanna hang out with me when they're sober, and they never did. Um, I used to drink by myself because I was lonely. I used to try to drink to, like, speed up time and just take myself out of the present moment and just move right into tomorrow. I used to drink just to have fun. Like, I just didn't know how to have fun without alcohol. I didn't know how to, like, relax and be myself. So I had to, like, drink a lot and get silly and whatever before I would feel comfortable. And but yeah, every doctor was like, do you drink? Do you smoke? Are you diabetic?" And the guy beside me smokes a pack a day. He he drinks a lot, I'm sure, like, in not I mean, not in the hospital, but, like, in his regular life, and they're like, "Those things are gonna dramatically impact your healing because it's like a thing your body has to." Maybe Anthony knows why. You probably know why, Anthony. Like, is it because it's like your body has to fight off, like, a toxin instead of healing, or is it that alcohol and tobacco create harm when you should be healing? Or is it both? I'm not super clear on, like, what the reason is of, like, why it would impact recovery so much. I guess smoking I could see because it's like, yeah, it's your blood, right? It's your, like Emer says, for cigarettes, it's your circulation. Yeah, so then your blood's not flowing properly. Um, but yeah, alcohol, I'm a little fuzzy on, like, why exactly is alcohol. Susan says, "I Googled and it says restricting oxygen, weakening the immune system, and disrupting cell repair." Huh, I did not know alcohol restricts oxygen. That's good to know. Yeah, I could see weakening the immune system, disrupting I mean, it just disrupts everything, I guess, if you need to, instead of healing. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you, Susan. Um, and yeah, Anthony says they'll let you keep the cast once it gets cut off if you love all the art on it. Will they really? Anthony, they will? They'll let me keep it? I'm keeping it. Oh my god, I'm totally okay, we're doing it twice. We're totally doing it twice. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. They let you keep it. I didn't know that. I was just gonna take a bunch of photos. I mean, I hope it's not gonna smell great. Not sure how I would keep it, but, that's awesome, Anthony. Thank you. Yeah, and then that was another thing I was grateful for because I was like, "I know I'm not gonna go to alcohol, about the injury. I know I'm not gonna comfort eat a bunch of sugar about the injury. I know that I'm not going to, feel like I need to gain weight in order to be safe about it. Like, I know that I'm gonna like, it just I was so filled with gratitude, especially, like I said, I was in the ER and there were people on the gurneys from the ambulance, and they were so big that they didn't fit on them. So, like, their middle was on them, and then the rest of them was, like, spilling off the side, which must be so uncomfortable to have to sit like that and be jostled around while you're in pain. And I was like, "Thank God I already lost 45 pounds, because if I did this a year ago, how much harder would it be to, like, use my walker and get to the bathroom or, like, maneuver myself around?" Like, it's just easier when you're lighter, and, like, having the nurses move me and the like, changing beds and getting into the CT scanner and all that stuff, it's like it's just easier to maneuver. So I was like, "Oh my god, like, this is such good timing." Um, so it's, like, another thing that was going well. Yeah, so do you guys have any questions? Do you need any support? Do you, um are you, like, just, uh, happy that I showed up at all today? There was no thought in my mind of canceling it. I was like, "I'm out of the hospital Thursday, I'll be fine by Sunday for an hour. I'm gonna have to rest a lot after this." Susan says, "Yes, you are so inspirational." Thank you, Susan. Um, yeah, like, I just want people to know that life can be easier, gentler, warmer, softer. Like, it doesn't have to be this cold, hard, jagged, aggressive, panicky, judgy, critical experience. Like, I'm literally in the worst pain of my life. Yeah, Susan, even with broken bones, and they were very broken. That's why I put in the live stream. I'm like, it's my very broken leg. And I still knew everybody's name. I still thanked everybody. I was still, I was making them laugh. because I had no filter. And I was lying on the floor in the gym where I broke it, and I was like, I really hope the paramedics are cute when they come because I love a cute paramedic. And then they came, and it was a guy and the girl had this beautiful long hair, and she was really pretty. And they're like, the girl's cute, and I was like, I love cute girls. Like, let me see. Um, I think that's Yaffy saying, "So happy you are here talking to us. So glad to see your beautiful smile as always. Yay, thanks for coming. Yay, I'm so happy. It could have gone bad. And I didn't walk into surgery. I was rolled into surgery having that thinking of like, what if I die? And then I was like, I'm not gonna die. The universe is not we're not gonna just end it here. Like I haven't done any of the stuff I want to do yet. I want to help so many people. Anthony said, just let them know in advance you want the cast. Oh, okay. So they make less cuts into it. Anthony, you've got all the insider knowledge here. Yay. Hi, Yaffy. Love it. Love to see you. Um, yeah. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you are um we're talking about how are we meeting ourselves with compassion and gentleness and giving ourselves what we need instead of being like you shouldn't need that. So I don't know if you want to say how that went for you this week. But I'm here to offer support if you guys need support. um oh, okay. Oh, you've been here the whole time. Yeah, if you just couldn't type. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Yay. Perfect. That's awesome. Okay. So, yeah, and I also had so much compassion for my past self because I had a surgery when I was 30 or 31, and it was awful. I recovered. It was laparoscopic. I mean, like they barely even like went in there. And it was supposed to be like you recover within 6 hours and whatever. I mean, I was seizuring, I was like weeks of pain. Of course, I started drinking as soon as I got home, eating all the sugar. Like I had a brutal recovery from like a very not a minor surgery, but like they had to knock me out for it and everything. But certainly not like a severe emergency like bone surgery. And I just can't get over um, the compassion that I have for my past self who felt like it had to be hard, it had to be scary. We had to have wine, we had to have cupcakes, we had to have sugar. There was just no other way to feel better. I just couldn't tap into my capacity to feel good without some kind of assist. So it also, in a weird way, gave me compassion for my past self. So it's just been like a very eye-opening experience to kind of see myself embody a new way of living and a new way of feeling and a new, um, you know, life based on that compassion. And then that's where it comes down to like, do I practice what I preach, right? Because if I'm in there screaming at everyone, like swearing and freaking out and whatever, then like I know I have more work to do. I can't just get on here and try to help people. um and that's what my husband kept saying. He was like, it was unbelievable for you to be in that much pain and you still were lovely. You still knew everyone's name. You still met everyone with gratitude. He's like, nobody would have blamed you if you hadn't. Um, and I was like, it just wouldn't occur to me because I just don't feel like I'm under that kind of threat, even though my physical body was um threatened to whatever degree. I was like, do you know how much of human history somebody would have hurt their ankle and nobody would have come? Like, do you know how terrifying that is? Like, the fact that they came and they're like, "Yeah, but it took 30 minutes." And I'm like, "Pfft." 30 minutes, that's fine, like, I wasn't bleeding or anything. Although my ER doctor was looking at it, and he's like, "Where is the blood? Where is the blood?" And I was like, "Inside my body where it's supposed to be. Like, where's your blood?" And he saw the X-ray first before he saw me. So just looking at the X-ray, he assumed that it had to be a compound fracture and that it had gone through the skin and that there was blood everywhere. He just starts looking around under my leg, being like, "Where is the blood?" And I was like, "There's no blood." And he's like, "Wow, like, how'd you pull that off?" And I was like, "Another thing to be grateful for. That, like, that's how severe this break was, that it should have been a compound fracture, and it wasn't." So, like, that's awesome. Go team. Go body. Great job, ankle. Susan says, "No kidding, so lucky." Yeah. And then at what point did I, like, kind of, you know well, that I think was just luck, actually. I was like, "Well, what point did I make my own luck?" No, I think that was straight up the universe being like, "So, you have to break your leg." Bad news. Good news is it's all gonna be okay. Like, you're gonna be in and out in 40 hours. You're gonna be home and resting comfortably, and then you just get to spend all of Christmas getting waited on like a princess in bed, not moving around. Um, so yeah, that's how that cookie crumbled. Um, so yeah, that's been an hour of our live stream. Susan said, "You're going to get beautiful healing energy sent to you from around the world." Oh my God, I already have. I already have so many people from all these places. They're like, "Oh, I'm sending you all these positive vibes." I'm like, "Yeah, I can feel it." And I just like channel it right down to my ankle. And I'm like, "There you go, ankle. You go to more support." Um, Emer says, "And you got a total case study." That's what I think is so cool. Emer says, "And you got a total case study on how compassion affects your outcomes." Again, because I have this thing to compare it to. And I'm just thrilled because I'm like, I can be my own testimonial now. Like, this really dramatically impacted me, and yet I was still able to operate from the same space. Susan says, "Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank Dave for us." Yeah, and Andrew and all your skating friends. Yeah, for being there and taking care of you. Oh, I've thanked them so much. They did everything. One girl went to her car and got car mats, like that you put at your feet that were brand new, and slipped them under my back so that I wasn't going into shock so much from the concrete, like being on the cold concrete. She just like slipped them under my back, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's a lifestyle upgrade." Um, so yes, I will, Susan. I will thank everyone for you. Ooh, I brought a card that somebody gave me. I got a whole like care package, and it made me so happy. Look at this card, guys. Isn't that the most Helmy card you've ever seen? Like if you were like in a store looking for a Helmy card. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, and I got a care package, and I was just like, this is awesome. Anthony says, "Try to keep your cast elevated under one cushion." Ooh, I have it on 3 pillows, Anthony. Is that too many? "It will help decrease swelling of the operated site and improve circulation, which will in turn help healing." Okay, so not too many. I have 3 pillows stacked up. Is that too many, Anthony? Should it only be 1 pillow? Should it be smaller? Anthony says, "Positive vibes to you from Ontario." Yay! See, I'm getting more positive vibes. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm so grateful, and I'm still in pain, and I'm still on painkillers, and I'm still like, I'm only a couple days out from surgery, but I'm just holding this, like, it's going to be okay. I'm going to make a full recovery. I'm going to build my body back up. I'm going to be stronger than I was before. And, um, and the universe has awesome stuff for me with this. So I just wanted to come on tonight and share that, even though it's a little unusual maybe to still do this in this situation, but thank you to everybody who came. I'm so glad that you were here and I got to share this with you. And thank you to everybody watching on the replay. Hello, future people. You guys are awesome, and I'm very grateful for all of you. I know I sound like a broken record, but I am. Okay. Emer says it'll be okay. Lots and lots of positive vibes. Thank you, Emer. Okay, I will talk to everybody next week. I'm here. I will get good rest. Yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep right now. And I'll be live. I'm live every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, thank you. Yappy says, feel good. We love you. Oh, that's awesome. I love you guys too. Good night. Thank you. Okay, bye.